Hello and welcome to Geoscope on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes and I'm joined tonight, once again, by Ollie from Yorkshire. Ollie Bowler Hat Man. How you doing there, Ollie? You all right?
Yes, I am all right. I am doing well, as they say.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not like the band, but well.
That's where the mansplainer gets his water, from the well, actually. Listen, Ollie, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
Do you know how long it's been?
It has been a long time.
Do you know how long it's been?
No, do tell.
2 months.
Oof.
The last time we spoke was the night of the American election.
Yes. Gosh. Oh.
Yeah.
Heavy time. So much has happened.
It has. So much.
Yeah.
And none of it good. Has anything good happened? Well, Le Pen died today.
Actually, yes.
The old Le Pen.
I would argue we'll get into this later. What's happened in Syria? I would argue has been monumentally good for the people of Syria.
Well, yes, but we don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
Turkey's talking. I mean, Erdoğan is talking about the possibility of Syria splitting into two. There's stuff, there's stuff on, there's stuff going on. But yeah, let's start with. Do we start with what's happening in South Korea to kick us off?
Oh yes.
Because this
also happened while we were away as well, wasn't it?
Yes. So the president of South Korea, a guy called Yoon Suk Yeol, decided to call out the army to take the country under military rule for some reason in a state of emergency.
His justification
one
for
Thursday afternoon, randomly.
Yeah, his justification for this was that the North Korean was sending infiltrators and had undermined South Korea's democracy, and for the sake of saving democracy of South Korea, he had to call martial law, which took everyone by surprise because he did it, of course, at the the completely normal time of just gone midnights.
Yeah.
Perfectly normal time to hold a really important press conference, and no one saw it coming. So it took a lot of people in South Korea by surprise.
Bit random. Yep. All in all.
So what happened from there after he called it, the army and the police sort of went, well, we're sort of going to surround Parliament just in case. However, the opposition parties saw this, and word went around immediately of what was going on. So they dashed as quickly as they could. And you saw a lot of the film footage of them breaking into Parliament, trying to get to the chamber, and essentially vote to undo this, which again, according to the South Korean constitution, they have to ratify martial law. So they didn't didn't ratify martial law. Then what worryingly also happened was the military came in and went, well, tell you what, we will ignore that if you want us to. To which South Korea rolled a 6 on this dice. They absolutely rolled a 6 on this and said, no, I don't want you to. So they narrowly avoided. Well, who knows essentially what would have happened if it had gone the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, an attempted coup, essentially, and it's they managed to avoid it. But there was
in a country that was a military dictatorship until what was it, 1980 or something? I mean, it was fairly recent. It might have been the 90s actually. It was fairly recently. It stopped being. I mean, 1979, the year I was born, the GDP of South Korea and the GDP of Afghanistan were on a par with each other, remarkably, and they've gone in very, very different directions since then. I've got a surge of super chats, a surge of supers. Thank you very much to Puninator, first of all, who has a point of order for you, mate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on,
because this will never not be funny.
Yeah, I've got to get my hat for a second. Do you
want to get your hat while I'm
one moment? You read the super chats.
David Faulkner, thank you very much for the 158 Hong Kong dollars. That sounds like a lot. It's not as much as it sounds like, but it is very generous. Thank you very much, David. What about your old Graham H Travels channel? You got up to Hughes of the World, 40, Costa Rica. Is that channel defunct now? Just returned from South Korea. Many young folk consider Yoon to be anti-China, far-right, Korean Trump. Yes, I could see them saying that. So the last couple of days, I've been putting videos on my Graham Hughes Presents channel, which is separate to my Graham Hughes Travels channel. So I'm in a bit of a, and you can just, if you want to have a chat with me about this, not right now, I guess. Oh, lovely hat! I love it. Is that a swan or a duck?
My goose. It's my
it's
goose.
A goose. Hat. It's a goose hat. That is fantastic. I love your goose hat. But yeah, I'm just debating whether to, because it seems a bit daft having 3 different channels, but at the same time, I don't know if I should be putting my short films and music videos and stuff on the same channel as my travel stuff. I feel like it should be separate.
So from a marketing perspective, always have different YouTube channels for different things.
Yeah.
Always have 3 different channels. Yeah.
Okay.
Spread them out so your travel audience goes for your travel stuff.
Politics, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, the thing is with the Graham Hughes Presents, that's just my show reel, basically. That's just a show and, like, what I can do with no money. Give me money, I'll make even better stuff. But yeah, so yeah, I think I am David Faulkner. So Ollie, I was doing a series during COVID called Hughes of the World, and I did like 39 of them episodes each week, and it was a different country each week, and I told the story of each country, like the history of it, where it is in the world, sort of a bit of the back, the sort of the backstory, the history, and it was live. It was live and interactive, and it was fun. But it honestly took all day. Well, it took sometimes longer than a day to do the research for it. And I did all the A's, doing alphabetical. I got through the B's, and then I did the C's, and I was doing research into the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I was reading all up about the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I read a few things, and it gave me PTSD, mate. Just reading about it, it really messed me up, and I went away to Panama with Marcus, all shorts, for a few weeks, and then when I got back, I never picked it up again, and it's kind of because I don't want to have to delve into horrible things that people did in the past again. But no, I mean, maybe I should just stay away from the countries that Europeans went to and fucked up. Oh, hang on, that's all countries, isn't it? Damn. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. But yeah, it would be good to resurrect that. I'm a bit fucked, mate, because my plan this year was to make sure that the island was in such a state that, such a good state, that I could either sell it, which I don't really want to do, or I could get an investor in to invest in it and make it nice. And so I could use the investment money, to pay off my debts and have a little bit left over, so I could just concentrate on doing videos with stuff I like, doing, without having to worry about is anyone going to watch this. Starting a new YouTube channel and you've got 62 people watching. Do you know what I mean? Is it worth it? So I'd like to be able to get away from that and just do my own thing. And if that is possible, then I'd love to just do more travel stuff, do more political stuff that I care about, and not necessarily responding to something horrible that Trump has done. And oh my God, like he's not even in power yet. And he's already just being the most horrible little shit you could ever possibly imagine.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later, but there's some.
Well, I'm worried about Panama now.
Stuff.
I'm worried about Panama because, like, what if he does invade? Like, what happens to my property in Panama if he invades? Does the Panamanian government just take it? I would if I were there. If I was the government, I'd say, right, all you foreigners, fuck off. We're having that.
Yeah, technically, that could be fun. I'm not sure what the law is regarding an invasion. Depends how much the US government wants your island, essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like this. Like I say, I got given this as well.
As a gift recently. Beautiful, man!
It's a very nice squishy haggis.
A squishy haggis, love it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the squishy haggis.
Yeah, but yeah, it depends how much they want your island. Really, I'm not sure what the law is. I suppose it's law of conquest at that point.
Yeah. Well, we'll come on to that. First of all, Alec Barrett, thank you so much for the super chat, mate. That's very kind of you. 2020 was the first year the UK produced more power from more electricity from wind than gas-fired power stations. It's a good thing that happened. Yeah, thanks for that, Alec. We needed a bit of a boost. But as we go into this next year, Biden did something fun yesterday. He decided to sign a executive order or something that's going to be very hard to rescind, saying that they can't drill for any more oil off the coast of America. So all that drill nonsense that Trump was coming out with, that's all gonna go the way of the dodo. I hope.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff he wants to do, Greenland, Panama, Canada. Okay, let's talk about that later. So, where were we? We were still talking about
South Korea.
South Korea,
yeah.
Yes.
And South Korea at the moment is in a bit of a political turmoil because obviously something like this has never happened in their country. So they are in a bit of a political crisis, and they've gone through 3 prime ministers, I think, in the space of like a week.
Oh, really?
At one point, yeah.
Oh, wow! I didn't.
Before
hear
Christmas,
about
that. They changed like prime minister like 3 times.
Oh, fuck!
Like that's how bad it was, and
oh man,
they got to a point where like the ruling party was for impeachment and they weren't for impeachment, and then they decided, oh no, actually we're for impeachment again. But no, now they are, and I think they've now gotten to the point where they've actually arrested sort of the guy, the prime minister who called the coup, essentially at that point. So we'll probably be talking about in the near future about what happened and how this uncovered, because no doubt, obviously, the prosecution has to go into looking into what happened, the reasons behind this, and we'll probably find out a whole more host of information about how this all happened and why it all went down in the end. So yeah, we'll see on that front. But it is always you muted yourself, Graham.
I just said it's infuriating that one person, one little squishy human, can just cause so much trauma. Cause so much. Like I'm stressed. I am stressed at the moment because I haven't got a clue what's going to happen over the next few months or the next few years with Trump in charge of America, and things are kicking off. The prime minister of Canada resigned yesterday. You've got the AfD gaining ground in Germany, which is terrible news because and being backed by Musk. Like Musk is like, yeah, they're the only solution to Germany's problems. Yeah, Germany thought that the Nazis were the solution to their problems in the 1930s. How did that turn out? Yeah,
well, I think at some point the EU is going to step in. I think after that article, after all that stuff went down, after some of the stuff that's happened recently, I think you've really got now the EU sort of pushing to do stuff. And of course, Poland's now in charge of the EU presidency. So I think at some point, probably this year, we will probably be reporting on the fact that Musk and the EU are butting heads. And then at some point, Donald Trump might step in. And then that's when we might get that trade war between the US and the EU.
Well, he's already threatening a trade war with Denmark, and Denmark is very firmly in the European Union. It joined in 1973 at the same time as the UK did, actually. But yes, it's that is like, I mean, he wants a trade war with everyone. He wants an actual war with Canada. He wants to annex Canada. He wants to invade Poland. Oh, I almost said invade Poland there. I meant in Panama.
Yep.
Well, you started it. Well, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. You invaded Poland. You invaded Panama. But this is funny because a lot of the Yank American voters who I met in Panama who defended him and think he's great said he never started any wars. He never started any wars. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure Obama didn't start any wars. I'm pretty sure, like,
this super supposed anti-interventionist president has suddenly gone all, we're going to take that. We're going to take that. That's ours now. Very imperialist.
This is the thing. It doesn't matter what he does. And talking of not mattering what he does, we just found out that this afternoon that what's his name? Not Musk. Zuckerberg has decided that he's got to get rid of all 40,000 moderators off Facebook. 40,000 people now looking for a new job. And we're going to moderate it ourselves, apparently, Ollie. We're going to moderate it ourselves. The community notes.
because that's not like the worst idea.
So essentially, Facebook is going to turn into X. Very badly. And he's relocating from California with all the censorship there to Texas, where you can say whatever you want, as long as it makes the people in Texas happy. So you can't run around telling people you're an atheist and you just had an abortion, because that's wrong.
Yeah, I think they've all seen what's happened to sort of Twitter. I don't think Zuckerberg's that foolish as Elon Musk. Plus, you've got the fact that the shareholders involved in Facebook, there weren't any shareholders involved in Twitter. So if this starts to go a bit wrong, they will be screaming at Musk, like at Zuckerberg, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" And if he doesn't stop, then they'll turf him out. Very, very simple. So yeah, he can't go as far as Elon on that one. And I think they've very much seen what could happen if they decide to go that way. Because you've seen things like Blue Sky absolutely explode, late last year because of that massive transition going off over all that. So,
I mean, it's still like the amount of engagement to get on Blue Sky is still a little bit, leaves a lot to be desired, I have to say. There's only 25 million people on there. Whereas, how many's he got on fucking Twitter now?
Probably a lot less than last time. Like I say, it's still falling in the charts where it is. I mean, the Samsung clock app is more popular and used than Twitter on phones on a mobile app now. So yeah, that's still something.
But I mean, the thing is, this is how we target them. People are like saying, "Well, what are we going to do?" And some people are despairing, like the amount of power these billionaire wankers have got. We go after the advertising. We get people to deactivate the Facebook accounts. How do we do that? We make it unusable. We make it really shit. Like those people who are purposefully adding. So when I sort of relaunched my Graham Hughes Presents channel last night, I noticed it came up with a thing saying I can opt in to having my content used for AI purposes, right? Learning AI. And I'm like, actually, I'm not going to. But if I start a new channel, I can just populate it with bullshit and mislabel everything. Just mislabel absolutely everything. And this is why you've got some AI generative art. You type in that you want clouds and you get pictures of cats in the clouds. Because that's people fucking with the algorithm and essentially saying, this is a cat and it's a cloud, for instance. And so people, there's enough of us. And this is the thing, like we tend to think, the power on the other side is like overwhelming, but actually, there's very few of them. There's very, very rich people that run everything. There's very few of them. We've got the numbers, and they're not asked. I mean, like someone like Zuckerberg isn't asked about politics. He just wants to make money, and if he sees the bottom line going down, if shareholders start abandoning Facebook and going bollocks to this shit, he will sit up and take notice. He will sit up and take notice. Well, we'll see. So, should we talk about Jean-Marie Le Pen, who fucking carked it? I was going to say passed away, but that was far too nice. Who fucking carked it today at the age of 96? This is the thing about evil; it just never dies, does it? It just goes on and on. 96. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it'd been a long time since he'd actually really been relevant, though.
But his daughter still is, isn't she?
Yeah, like I say, she pretty much took over the mantle, really of the National Front, and she's pretty much been the face. Like I say, he's been very, very much not active for a number of years, really, but he was pretty much responsible though for putting in the party was in the position it is in France. Think of him as sort of a Nigel Farage of France, Le Farage. I suppose you could call him, but that's why they're so popular today, because of the actions he did and what he did, and then eventually he retired and he passed it on to his daughter. His daughter now runs the show.
Well, so, Simon Smith in the chat's a positive note, lads. Show a Holocaust denier Le Pen Senior shuffled off. going back to Zuckerberg for a moment, did you see what he wrote about specifically talking about Germany and basically saying about Facebook in Germany? Because in Germany, it is illegal to lionize the Nazis. So, for instance, in Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein couldn't be released, the first one, the original and best, it couldn't be released in Germany because it has too many swastikas in it. As simple as that. And they have very strong rules about things like that, which amazes me that AFD manages to do what they do. You would think that the authorities would clamp down on that like a ton of bricks. That's not the right expression, is it? Come down on that like a ton of bricks, but they haven't. But yeah, that's concerning. So I can see Trump gearing up to go to war with the EU, not like an actual physical war, but like a trade war, a tech war, an information war. This kind of, what is it, World War 3.0 idea. And I could see all those horrible little mangy weirdos who have all this money, like the Zuckerbergs and the Musks of the world, taking a massive advantage of it and causing real harm, real damage in countries that they decide that, they want their version of free speech absolutism, which is, they can say whatever they want. You can't.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that on Twitter. And we've recently had the whole huge fallout between MAGA.
Yeah.
So we saw the whole Elon side, and then we had the whole anti-Elon side, the whole anti-H-1B visas, who were like, this is meant to be like Trump's big policy is going to block H-1B visas. But people like Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy came out massively in defending these visas. Why? Because they use them all the time. Because they can get someone who's highly skilled and then go, right, well, you're going to work for us for the next 5 years before you get your green card. So we're going to exploit you basically, and if you don't work the hours we want you to, well, you're not going to work for us, and then pack your bags type of thing. So they've got a huge power over them. That's why they use these visas. Musk and Vivek have been prolific users of this visa scheme, and Trump was dead against it in 2016. 2020 he was again dead against it, and then basically he bent the knee, and MAGA has absolutely lost its mind. It's turned into a proper little civil war on this.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens on that front, but it just goes to show you, not all is, shall we say, calm and stable in the MAGA worlds.
Well, no, and it won't be. But this is the thing.
Fireworks.
Yeah, but this is they want this. Like we're acting like, oh my god, it's so funny that. Well, we're saying, it is really funny watching them fight like rats in a sack, and objectively, it is funny. However, this is what they want. They don't want to rule. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to achieve anything. They don't want to create anything. They just want to take up all of the oxygen. So everyone is just talking about these fuckers every fucking day. We're talking about them. Everyone's talking about them because that's what they want. They just want the fame. They want the notoriety. That feeds their narcissistic personality syndrome. And Trump wants it. And all those bastards, that 77 million bunch of fuckleheads who voted for Trump wanted me to have to look at that ugly cunt's face every day for the next 4 fucking years. That ugly goatsy of a face that he has. I have to look at that. You don't know what goatsy is, do you? Oh, you sweet summer child. How I envy you. How I envy you. If only I could erase that from my memory. See, Ollie's only 18. He's just a little baby. he's just a spring chicken. Yeah, but for those of us who are around in the early days of the internet, we know what goatsy is, and Trump has a goatsy face. I absolutely fucking hate his face, and I don't want to have to see it next every day, every time we go check the news, every time we go and check the footy results, every time we check the fucking weather, there's going to be Trump. You're not going to be able to avoid him. He'll be on Google, he'll be on BBC, he'll be on CNN, be on whatever website you go, you will have a picture of Trump. He'll be on the front cover of newspapers. I mean, it'd be so difficult to use the internet and just have a normal life and not see a picture of Trump. And do you know what it reminds me of? When I was in Syria in 1999 and every fucking lamppost going down the street in Damascus had a picture of the fucking president on it. Every single one. Bum, 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 bum. Every taxi you got in had a picture. Yeah, well, no, of the then president. It was his dad. You know, a picture of the president hanging from the rear view mirror. You went into like a shop and they'd have a picture of the fucking president behind the person serving you in the shop. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so oppressive. It is Big Brother. And that's what Trump wants to be. He wants to be Big Brother, this personality cult of, you know, this wonderful benevolent leader who never started any wars. Yet.
Yeah.
Fucking hate him. But Blue Badger says, I remember Goatsy though. That was weird. Yeah, kind of grim. Please, don't Google it. Oh my God. Anyone watching this who doesn't know what it is, live in blissful ignorance. Do not Google it, please. God, Jesus. We'll get demonetized forever. But yeah, Dave W. saying, don't pull your punches, Graham. Tell us what you really think. Fucking hate Trump. I fucking hate his stupid, gormless, dickhead face. I feel the same way about Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. I don't want to see their faces. And one of the best things about Trump losing in 2020 and then not being around really much in 2021, I hardly ever saw his face on the news. It was great. There's like a 12-month gap, you know, before they started properly impeaching him and all that kind of shit. And when he started getting in the news again. But it was just like, he could go on the news and you wouldn't have to see him. And the thing is, like, most presidents, you don't see them every day on the news, do you? Like Biden. I didn't see Biden every day.
You wouldn't see Biden every day, but you'd probably see him like, you know, once a week. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I can handle that. Every day, though? Because it just puts me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. It's like hearing a bad song. It's like hearing some music that you really hate. It just puts me in... I don't know about you, but if I hear a song that I fucking hate, it puts me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Especially if especially going to earworm as a result. Anyway, what are we talking about? Meta. Fact-checking.
Yeah.
Check my facts.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the shareholders will let it go that way.
But he's already announced it. He's already announced it.
Well, again, we'll see what the response is. If it starts to go all a bit Pete Tong, then at that point the shareholders are going to step in and just go, okay, Zuckerberg, you need to turn this around, because they don't want to go the way of Twitter. I think people have very much realized that. But yeah, they're replacing it with AI and wanting AI to sort of moderate content instead, rather than sort of a physical human. So we'll see how it works out, but I'm not crossing my fingers that it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what Zuckerberg's written. Number 6, work with President Trump to push back against foreign governments going after American companies to censor more. The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world, and the best way to defend against the trend of government overreach on censorship is with the support of the US government. Yeah,
that's EU. Yeah, that's most clearly against speaking out against the EU there at that point. But yeah, what they're going to do? Now, it's the EU. What if you want to sort of continue in the EU, which at the moment, Threads for the longest time couldn't operate in the EU because of EU rules and regulations. And it was only because they finally relented on that they actually could now have Threads in the EU. So yeah, it's you've got to follow the rules and regulations. If you don't like it.
Well, Oliver Brown is asking, was TikTok banned? Well, it will be on the 19th. Probably. Barring some miracle. It'll be banned in the United States. It's already banned in a bunch of states in America. It's banned on government phones. It's banned on lots of things. It's already banned in America. Which is funny, because it's like they really love their free speech as long as it's their free speech. If it's someone else's free speech, you can't have that protection.
Yeah, and look, I don't have TikTok on my main phone for a reason. There is a legitimate reason why I do not have it on. But on my other sort of phone that I also use for work as well, I have it on there because I'm going to have access to TikTok. Because of the type of work that I do. But like I say, I will not have it on my main phone just because there's plenty of very well documented stories about how China have used it and their access that they've had to it. So there is a valid point when they do bring this up in America, but
this is the thing. So what's the Chinese government doing? Well, they're buying people's data, stealing people's data.
Yeah, and I hate Facebook
has been doing that for years, mate.
Regretting.
Facebook has been doing that since 2007. It's been stealing people's data and selling it to the highest bidder, which can include China.
Yeah, well, the Chinese now are very much regretting because they'd put a lot of money into Twitter.
Yeah, Paul is saying Pornhub banned. Yeah, Pornhub and
that's probably something else that's going to happen as well.
No, they're already banned in some southern states.
Yeah, in some states they've banned it.
Pulled the plug.
Trying to be nationally.
YouPorn, I think, has gone as well, and some others, and they're all owned by the same people anyway. So it's like all these different porn sites. They're all owned by like one company that like makes the world porn. They're all getting banned. There's going to be a lot of frustrated. I mean, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely fucking horrible. I am so glad that I'm not American. I wake up every day now. I'm just thanking my lucky stars that I wasn't born American, because the next few years are going to be horrible for everyone in the world, but they're particularly horrible for people in America, especially if you're not a man, especially if you are an ethnic minority, especially if you have different sexual persuasion, especially if you're trans. In the next few years in America is going to be a living fucking hell for a lot of people. I mean, there's some areas you can go to, probably New England or California, where things should be fairly normal, but all those people who live in like Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas, Arkansas, fucked, mate. They are so fucked, and they've got no idea how fucked they are. It's talking to them like, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine. It's like, mate, you don't know what's coming. You imagine you have 1 million young men, sexually frustrated young men, who are now no longer allowed to buy porn. Watch porn on the internet. What's going to happen? They're going to go out and attack people. They're going to attack women. And when they do attack women and the woman gets pregnant from the sexual assault that they've had visited on them, they won't be able to have an abortion. There has been, since 1945, a big push from conservatives in America to make America more like Saudi Arabia. They want it to be less America and more Saudi Arabia, and those people have won. And I really worry for the future of that country.
I don't think so. I think there'll be a big pushback against it. I mean, Overton window type stuff. I think there'll be a big pushback. You're
so optimistic. I love your optimism.
I'm the eternal
You
optimist.
thought Trump wasn't going to win, mate. We had a lot of discussions on that.
Well, I think the biggest what if question of the American election is, quite frankly, what would have happened if Elon Musk hadn't come in and provided the Republican campaign a whole lot of money to be able to campaign in swing states? Because before Elon Musk came in and started funding that, they had no money whatsoever to be able to do the campaigning in those states.
Didn't matter. He didn't spend that much in 2016. I mean, that was all a con anyway. They just wanted some money for themselves. But his son went to Greenland today. His son went to Greenland.
Oh, no, I didn't see this.
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. or one of them, one of his spawn, one of his crotch spawn, one of his bloody womb nuggets, womb goblins, sex trophies, whatever the fuck they're called. Those little people. They sound like normal humans, but more squeaky. Children, that's the one. One of his children.
Yes. Children.
One of his childs went over there. Little shit.
His spawn.
his hell spawn. Went over to Greenland, to check it out, in a sort of flex move. Like the East End gangsters will come along and go, oh, nice place you got here. Knock everything off the mantelpiece like an irate cat and go, wouldn't want anything to get broken, would you? Don't forget the protection money on Friday. Darren Christian, thank you very much for the super chat. Why has Clegg left Meta? Did he know this was coming? Hasn't he sold a load of his shares? Yeah, he did know it was coming, and this is why he left, because Trump was coming in.
And they've appointed a very pro-Trump guy to replace him.
Yeah. Yeah, and now they're moving to Texas where they can have real free speech.
Yep.
Online searches for VPNs in Florida had doubled since the ban. This worries me because I use a VPN for my own, security and stuff, and also possibly to access things that I wouldn't otherwise be able to access. But I don't want to incriminate myself here. But I think that the cost of VPNs is going to go through the roof.
Oh yeah,
supply and demand,
wouldn't
innit?
surprise me. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Jesus Christ. Maybe Trump is just he's sponsored by NordVPN. He's sponsored by Surfshark.
Which we are sponsored by NordVPN.
We are sponsored. We'd like to say a word for our sponsor, NordVPN. No, we're not. Love to get sponsored one day. But until then, super chats for the win. Oliver saying Kamala would have won had Musk not interfered in the election.
Yeah, no, that is true. I really do think it is the greatest what if question of our time. What if Elon Musk had not decided to fund Donald Trump? I'll keep on saying it. At that point, the Republicans were out of money. They were running dry, and a lot of their funds, a lot of their big donors had not donated this time because of Trump, and they still haven't redonated or committed to donating because of Trump. So yeah, that's why later on, you saw the big chaos that happened, the almost potential government shutdown happen because Musk was flexing his influence.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, he was. Yeah. But what was the reason I gave? If you remember, cast your mind back to last year, and I said I think Trump might win. Right? Didn't say it was definite. I said I thought he might win. What was the reason I gave? Can you remember?
Can't remember now. It's been a year.
I said because all the billionaires are on his side. And we made the joke about the exception being Taylor Swift. Like all the billionaires on his side. And what's he going to do? He is going to, and we were talking about this on Stateside last night. If you want to watch that episode, it was really good. Tim over in New England, in Connecticut, he was talking about how they're going to take over the inland revenue over there. The IRS, and they are going to change the way taxes are collected, and they're going to get rid of a load of taxes. And if they're going to get rid of a load of taxes, a lot of these billionaires who owe millions of dollars and are being pursued by the IRS, all those cases are going to be dropped. So it was well in all of the billionaires' interests in America to get Trump in, because it will mean that they've got more money that they can, not possibly spend in their lifetime, but imaginary money that they can spend on themselves, I guess. So that's why I thought he would win, and that's why I think he did win, because the billionaires wanted him to. But as I said earlier, the big difference is there's only a handful of billionaires realistically in the world. There's billions of us.
Yeah, the other thing that you'll probably see happen is, as I said, when Elon Musk will clash at some point with the EU and is going to call in Trump. And that's a point we will probably start to see this trade war, because Trump will probably say, well, until you do this, we're going to tariff you. So the EU will turn around and go, okay, we'll tariff you back.
Yeah.
They have already pre-prepared for Trump.
But that's going to be really damaging to the EU economy, isn't it?
Massively damaging to the world economy. Massively damaging to the world economy. In fact, the smartest play the EU should be doing now is cozying up to Canada. And I think they should be going to try and get in Canada some sort of associate EU membership.
I don't think that Peter Pettigrew, or whatever his name is, who's going to come in on the Conservative side.
Yeah, probably not.
In a few months is going to go for that.
Even if you can't do that, getting some sort of better trade deal, because, hey, Canada's got a lot of natural resources that the EU really needs, and Canada
maple syrup
is but they've got a lot of ore, coal, ton of natural resources that Europe needs.
Okay, hang on. Can I just make a reverse point on this? This could be a good thing, right? Because we are so reliant on oil from America. I think America's the biggest oil exporter in the world now, but it's one of them at least.
Yep, Biden did that.
And this is something where when Russia invaded Ukraine, the EU went, fuck, half our bloody gas comes from Russia. What are we going to do?
35%.
And they had to change how the energy mix in the EU very, very quickly indeed. And I think this could be a continuation of that. So let's say Trump puts in trade barriers. You know, it's impractical to get any kind of scale up from, you know, like of oil or gas from Canada to replace that. And we have to find alternative means to generate energy really quickly. Luckily for us in Europe, there's an almost unlimited supply of energy that comes from the wind and the sun. And the double good effect of this is, one, it's going to accelerate our path towards net zero, and two, it will really piss off Trump, who has already today been talking about how in Britain he wants us to drill for oil in the North Sea. He wants to get rid of all of our wind turbines, you know, our silly wind turbines in the water, because they're killing all the birds and they're making the whales sad and little hands weirdo.
Thing is, though, you can't. The North Sea has had its day. I know a couple of people have been Aberdeen. You know, it's absolutely had its day. It's still there. You know, the
North Sea.
The millennium they were doing. I'm
glad.
They're doing what 4.4 billion barrels of oil a day, something like that. At the turn of the millennium, I think they're doing something like 1.4 now.
Still too much.
Production of oil in North Sea and has just completely dropped off.
Yeah,
purely because it's just getting more and more expensive.
Yes,
and to get any profit from North Sea oil, the price of oil has to be high.
Yeah.
However, what originally killed the North Sea, you know, as a big sort of, you know, oil producer was OPEC.
Yeah.
OPEC came along and said, no, we're going to be.
Well, this is why we
moved.
moved.
They're going to do this year as well.
This is why we moved off the gold standard, because we didn't control the price of gold. We had no gold in the UK. It was all robbed off us by the fucking Romans. I'll never forgive them. And like, okay, what? So the amount of gold they're producing in South Africa and Papua New Guinea, that affects our economy? What? And how much our economy is worth because it's based on the gold standard, which you can't control. All right, so we sacked that off. Now we're based on the oil standard, or the filthy fuel standard. And these filthy fuel peddlers, that like the OPEC countries, like Saudi Arabia and also, you know, BP and everyone else, that obviously they've got a vested interest in us continuing to use filthy fuel, but there's no economic benefit to it anymore. It used to be the cheapest, most effective way of getting lots of energy into your car. It's not anymore. The cheapest, most effective way of getting energy into your car is now wind power, in this country anyway. So yeah.
Like I say, that's why I'm really glad we've got Ed Miliband where he is, because Ed Miliband is one of those politicians that gets net zero. He gets the net zero transition.
Yeah.
He's a really good champion for like banging the drum for net zero. Yeah,
I think you're right. And also, I mean, that's something that gives me a little bit of respite. You know, I mean, little panicky moments, you know, where I'm like, oh, fuck, it's all fucked. At least we've got a Labour government, and I'm not saying they're perfect, not by a long chalk.
Oh, however, no government's perfect.
However,
no government's ever perfect.
Yeah. However, I'm very glad that it's them and not the Tories in power right now. Could you imagine Badenoch in power with Trump in America?
Oh, it would have been Badenoch. We'd have had more Rishi Sunak. We would have had more Rishi Sunak. That's what we would have had.
Yeah. Well, he didn't really care about anything but his life in his own pockets.
Speaking of, I'm going to make a prediction. And I think this is probably going to come true. So on Friday, Mike Johnson narrowly by 3 votes, won Speakership of the House.
Yeah,
by 3 votes. I thought it was all going to go a bit wrong on Friday.
It wasn't even 3 votes; it was 2 votes.
I was there watching with my popcorn, like fingers crossed, hoping this chaos was about to break out.
It wasn't 3 votes. It was half a vote. It was literally half a vote, because basically he needed one of the people. There's 3 people who were holdouts. He needed a vote off one of them, and he needed a present, not to vote for someone else, but for a present, because it's all based on how many people can vote. And so they could have either voted for him or changed their vote to present, and he still would have got in. So technically, half a mark. That's what he won by. Because they actually changed their vote to vote for him.
I don't think he's going to be Speaker by the end of this year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I do not think he's going to last the year.
Do you want to bet on that?
Depends what we're betting.
No, I was going to make a joke saying, because I'm not going to have that bet with you, because I fucking agree. I think he's on his way out.
Do you want to bet this? Do you want to bet my goose?
Well, I'll swap this hat for that.
Yeah.
No.
We'll
in a word. In a word.
I'll bet my goose.
my hat goose. Goose hat. Yeah.
In March, you've got another argument coming over the budget of what we saw just a couple of weeks ago. You know, they managed to sort of get the budget going.
Because the debt ceiling wasn't given. He wasn't given an unlimited debt ceiling.
So I think in March something's going to kick off. If it's not that, it could be something else. Because I think he is not going to last the year. He's not going to last the year, and you're going to see chaos.
Well, also
absolute chaos.
I mean, it's such a small majority, and things happen. You know, people die.
Well, it's gotten even smaller because Matt Gaetz is gone, and there's 2 other senators who are now serving in the Trump White House.
Yeah.
So they're gone.
Yeah, no, this is including them. So basically, I think you've got to have 217 for like to get as many. But you need 218.
216, 217, something like that. I think it is. Yeah,
and I think that's already accounting for the 2 people who have now gone from the House of Representatives to Trump's administration, and Matt Gaetz, who's just resigned. But yeah, it is an insanely narrow margin, and hopefully that will hamstring him.
It gets narrower, yeah.
But
I think they're gonna cause chaos. I think someone is gonna cause chaos in the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah,
and I think Johnson will be out, and then I think we'll have another week, maybe even longer, of who's going to be the next speaker, and then I think you're just going to continue on that.
Yeah,
it's just going to be.
Well, there's going to be a point where there's going to be a point where Trump gives up domestically, trying to get anything through, because what will happen is every time there's a vote, they'll say wait, we need to just have a conversation. I'll get on the phone to Trump. We saw. He'll be playing golf, and he'll say, "I want you to vote for this," and they'll go, "Well, what are you going to give me?" And they'll get more and more demanding as they go, because they know that it's all based on literally. Because
I guarantee the way they flip those people was with committee positions.
Yes.
Guarantee you those holdouts.
And there's only so many of them. And pork barrel politics. I want a new stadium for my the capital city of my state.
I say
there's only so many stadiums you can build, Mr. President.
I was personally hoping, because this is actually something that has affected me. The Inflation Reduction Act has actually affected my home county in South Yorkshire.
Tell us why.
So,
quite intrigued.
For those of you who don't know, the Inflation Reduction Act basically gave a huge set of massive subsidies to American manufacturing to set up factories for green industries and a whole host of things as well. You also had the CHIP Act as well, which was designed for advanced manufacturing companies as well, manufacturers, so robots in this case. And they get a massive subsidies. Basically, these subsidies are just so attractive, it's hard for a company to say no to. And in Sheffield, we've got the Advanced Manufacturing Park, where we have a lot of businesses that deal with advanced manufacturing. There was a company there just about to set up, robot builder, which, again, type of industry we need here in the UK. We need more robots. And a VC, American venture capital firm, came in and went, yoink, move to America. To America, you'll get all these subsidies, and we'll invest all this money in you. And they went, okay. So no robot building company in Sheffield now.
Yeah. Oh shit! I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah.
So Biden screwed you over?
Well, this was I was hoping that maybe the Republicans might kill the CHIP Act or even end the Inflation Reduction Act, because they don't like it. They really don't like it. So if they end the Inflation Reduction Act, even though I will say that is a massive Biden achievement, it is. a big, massive Biden achievement and something that the Democrats should have been like screaming and shouting about how good it is for America.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, everyone else, us on this side of the pond, really bad. Really, really bad. So, it's stealing and taking our some of our big manufacturers we saw there in Sheffield. And yeah. Hey, if they kill it, that's at least it's sort of a problem solved in one respect.
Well, not for the environment, mate. Not for the future of life on this planet, but Yorkshire needs all the help it can get, I suppose.
Yeah, excellent, yeah. We get a robot building factory. Hooray.
We got a super chat come in from Listen Saragorn. Thank you very much, Listen. So happy to see you two back. Oh, happy to see you as well. Thank you very much.
You get the goose.
We're getting complaints about scheduling. Hey, don't complain about our scheduling. We're going to wrap up in 5 minutes and we're going to hand you over effortlessly to our friend Maximilian, who starts at 8:30. That's the plan. That's why we moved this show to 7:30. So we weren't interfering with Max. That sounded wrong. Sarah wants to know how I will cope if Musk buys Liverpool FC. This is how I'll cope. I'm an Everton fan. I don't give a fuck. I'll be too busy laughing. Oh my God, Space Cameron buying Liverpool Football Club. Apparently his grandmother is from Liverpool. This is what he's saying now. Everyone wants to be a Scouser, don't they?
Well, not really. Not from Yorkshire. We've got it. I'm in the best county in the UK.
Which one?
Yorkshire.
Not a county, mate. Which one? There's 4 of them.
South Yorkshire.
Oh, South Yorkshire. So which one wins in a fight between North Yorkshire, East Yorkshire, West Yorkshire?
Well, North Yorkshire's where all the posh Yorkshire comes from.
Yeah.
We don't talk about East Yorkshire. And East Yorkshire's really only got Leeds, so
It's got Hull as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's That's West. No, yeah, Hull. Yeah, Leeds is in West Yorkshire. Hull's in East Yorkshire.
Yeah,
we don't talk about Hull.
This is the road to Hull. That's what I sing every time I get on the M62. Grimsby's in Lincolnshire, though, isn't it? Grimsby over the water. That's not Yorkshire, is it? Grimsby.
No.
Grimsby. God, what a horrible name for a place. Grimsby.
No, we have a far better superior place called Scarborough.
Oh God. Scarborough's a shithole, mate. It is just horrible. Like it's got this tiny little beach, and they have like a road and then some arcades, and basically the road is just full of knobheads doing laps in their shit, souped up Ford fucking Fiestas, their VW Golfs with like the really big fucking exhausts. Look at the source of my exhaust, Johnny shitty fucking Golf. Like I don't understand why people who obviously have the money to spend on their car don't just get a nice car.
Yeah.
So
before we finish, should we finish off with Syria? Because I think
yes. Do you know why we should finish with Syria? And this is very shallow. I can't actually read my notes. I can read Meta, Greenland, and then the next thing I've written looks like Ben going. I don't know. So let's just go straight to Syria because I can read that.
Yeah. Honest, this is something else that happened. Like I say, while we were away.
2 months is a long time in politics.
I know everything was pretty sure that the Syrian civil war was basically going to continue in a stalemate. That Assad was somehow going to hold on. It'd even been welcomed back into the Arab League. They were like, well, we'd kicked you out, but come back in. And then
flights have restarted. Flights have restarted from Qatar. You can now fly from Qatar, from Doha, all the way to Damascus. Anyway, sorry, interrupting.
And then out of nowhere, there was an assault by the rebels, which took Doha, I believe it was. And then a week later, they took Damascus.
Yeah.
It just happened like that.
First we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin.
No one saw it coming. It collapsed just like that.
Yeah.
And now Syria doesn't have Assad anymore. has a completely new leader at the moment. We don't know what shape the country is going to take in the next couple of years, but I am very optimistic, and I really think this is a challenge now for us. The European community should come together to help Syria as much as possible.
Yeah,
because we are host to a lot of Syrian refugees.
Yeah,
and I think if you want to really help Syria, we need to go over there and we need to make sure that Syria gets stabilized, that it gets rebuilt after the civil war. Because just as we saw in the case of Bosnia and Kosovo, 98% of all the refugees returned after, and that will be a very, very good thing for all of Europe.
Yeah,
when we can sort of return all that, because that is going to release a lot of pressure for people complaining about immigration, because we can now, all those refugees can now safely return home.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it was the war there was artificially prolonged by Russia interfering, a bit of foreign interference. It's all right when Russia does it, though, apparently, according to Tankies. But yeah, they interfered because they knew it would create refugees. And they wanted to create refugees. They still do want to create refugees. This is why Wagner's pissing around in Africa causing trouble, because they know it destabilizes Europe when we have refugees coming in, and it's a very easy win for the populist demagogue gobshite right to go, oh, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop all these people from other countries coming here. That'll learn them. Which is hilarious.
For those
a British person moaning about people going to other countries and doing stuff is just fucking hilarious. Like, wind your neck in, British person saying this. Have you any idea what we did to the world? No, I don't think so. Poninator, thank you very much for possibly the last super chat of the night, because we're going to leave you in the safe, capable hands of Maximilian in a moment. Ollie's playing with his toys. Poninator says, my dad is a Scouse. I can confirm that he ruined that entire area for me. Oh, shit. He's a refuck Brexiteer racist. Oh, that's not good. Honestly, when I first heard you, Graham, it was tough to listen to you due to his influence on me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Puninator. I'm glad that he moved out of Liverpool, though. If he was a refuck Brexiteer racist, that's probably why he moved. People were like, shut up, knobhead. And he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to call your dad a knobhead there. I just mean, like, that's what someone would have said in the pub to someone being a horrible racist. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much for the super chat. UK and EU must back the Kurdish region of Rojava. I don't know if that's going to happen, mate, because the history of the Kurdish regions of Syria and Iran and Iraq go back a long, long way, and Turkey, obviously, and it's always been fraught with danger. All right, mate.
Yeah, but just to finish off on Syria, I am very, very hopeful. I want to be very, very hopeful and optimistic for the future of Syria. I really, really do. He says with a goose on his head. He says with a goose on his head. I really want to be really hopeful and optimistic. Really hopeful and optimistic about the future for Syria. That civil war has been going on for almost 10 plus years now. Yeah. The Syrian people have had enough, and it really does seem like they've gone right. We've got rid of Assad now. That was like goal number one for everyone in the civil war. Let's rebuild the country now and find a new way. A new way forward, post this. So I want to be very optimistic and be very about the future of Syria. I really want to be optimistic about it. Yeah, I mean, I want to be optimistic as well, but I'm not as optimistic as you. Just sorry to be a Debbie Downer. Just historical. Yeah, don't worry. This is what you need, Graham. You need a goose. You need a goose. You've got a country of Sunnis, Shias, of Kurdish people, of Sufis, like they don't all get along. But yeah, well, hopefully there's a bright future in the offing for Syria. Anyway, so you've got a bright future if you keep watching this channel, because you're going to automatically be redirected to go and listen to what Max has to say about stuff. So please say hello from us when you go over there, if you just hang on to this channel through the credits. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my wonderful co-host, Ollie. Good to have you back. Happy New Year, mate. And until next time, thanks for the chats. Thanks for the super chats. Give us a like on the way out. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Bye.